Blessed Advent to everyone. I'm Kai Acuña and many call me Teacher Kai. I used to be a classroom high school teacher. I taught social studies for 7 years in a Catholic private school. After that, I received a calling to become a full-time lay missionary worker. I accepted that call and served our lay missionary workers in a Catholic community. The leaders of the missions office I worked turned out to be homeschooling parents, and they set up a homeschool support center. I had the opportunity to be part of that center and to help them out. So that started my involvement in homeschooling. As I served the center for 10 years, I met many wonderful Catholic families along the way. So, what were my first impressions of the homeschoolers I've met? I was actually very impressed. They were very confident and excellent communicators. They were very respectful and responsible. They had a deep understanding of the faith, and they were actively serving the community. So I found a new apostolate in the process. When you say homeschooling, education is parent directed. It does not necessarily mean that the parent teaches all the subjects, but basically the parent is ultimately responsible in the education of their children. So basically for me, coming from a traditional setup, there were so many things that I had to unlearn in the process. So what I've discovered in homeschooling is that students learn at their own pace. The students can pursue their passion and interest without sacrificing education. The Catholic teachings does not need to be confined in just one subject, in just religion subject or Christian life or values formation, but it can be infused and incorporated across the different subjects that the child does. Aside from that, in homeschooling, the parents are the most important educators of their children. The Code of Canon Law states, since they have given life to their children, parents have the most grave obligation and possess the right to educate them. Therefore, it is for Christian parents particularly to take care of the Christian education of their children according to the doctrine handed by the Church. So that's very clear from our Canon Law 226 that states on the importance and affirms the role of the parents in the area of homeschooling. In his letter to the families, Pope St. John Paul II wrote, parents are the first and the most important educators of their children. They possess a fundamental competence in this area. They are educators because they are parents. So to the parents who feel like, they're overwhelmed or even that insecurity that they are not able to do their task to become parent educator, this is an affirmation from Pope St. John Paul II that the best qualification that you can ever have to be the parent teacher of your child is that you are the parent and you know your child best. So you are the best educator and you have that anointing and you have that blessing from above. Our Catholic Church more than 2,000 years ago has always placed emphasis on evangelization. So for the Catholic family, we know that evangelization begins in the home with the children. Homeschooling helps parents fulfill their mission to educate their children for eternal salvation, as well as to form good citizens in this world to influence others to live the Christian life. So what are the benefits of Catholic homeschooling? I'm going to share with you some benefits taken from the Catholic Homeschooling Handbook by Dr. Mary K. Clark. So first, Catholic homeschooling benefits the student. So more than the achievements, more than knowledge on certain subjects, the most important effect Catholic homeschooling has on the child is really the moral development, the spiritual and moral development. That deeper love for our church, for our traditions, for our faith, and that deepening also in the love for Christ. I remember a story. I remember actually a student that I met before. She enrolled into the homeschooling program when she was already in high school. I was very impressed by her performance. She was such an achiever. She was already even taking advanced subjects because she was so fast. She was learning at her own pace and she was having the time of her life. She didn't have to wait for other students like she used to in the regular school that she came from before she can learn the advanced topics that she want to. And in the process, she continued to bloom, and even finished the grade level in less than 10 months. All along, I didn't know that she was actually carrying a burden inside. She was actually broken within. She was actually hurting within. I just found out back then, I found out that she was actually a victim of bullying. And in the process of our conversation, the student shared with me that learning more about our faith has allowed her to learn more about Jesus, and then she felt God's love through her lessons, through the things that she is learning, through the truths that has opened her minds to our faith. And that has brought healing upon her. It actually transformed her. She has been made whole in the process. There was healing in her journey in Catholic homeschooling. What else is the benefit of Catholic homeschooling? Let's go now in the area of socialization. So another benefit is social development. The papal documents repeatedly stress the value and importance of children learning at home from parents and other members of the family. One pope even pointed out that each member of the family actually represents a microcosm of the different groups in society. Like the children learn about the needs of their grandparents, the interests of the elderly, for example. They learn to forgive those who disregard their possessions as they deal patiently with little brothers and sisters. So they learn to settle agreements and work on their own. They also learn to serve others as they help younger siblings with their studies and chores. So obedience and respect for authority are learned as parents respect grandparents, as children respect parents. And in the process, when they go out to the world, the real world, they are able to handle relationships well because they were trained when they were in the homes. I remember of this very cute little girl when she started homeschooling. She was still very young back then. She actually felt and experienced, unkind words coming from the authority in the institution. Just thinking of schooling made her feel sick. She had a trauma. She didn't want to go back to school, so the family decided to go for the Catholic homeschooling route. And in the process, she began to open up once again. She became happier in the process. She felt a sense of security as she learns her lessons without that fear of, being hurt by unkind words. Because within that home that she continues to homeschool, she feels the love of her parents, she feels the trust, and she knows that even if she creates and makes mistakes, she will continue to be loved and to be encouraged. So, in that journey, she bloomed in the process. Despite the scar that she felt before, the trauma, she was also healed in the process. She is one of the most talented students that I know. And surprisingly, she's one of those performing on stage. She's very good in theater. And that's really awesome, from a very reserved, shy, and scared child to a child who has bloomed in the process because of homeschooling. Another benefit of homeschooling is also for the mother. It provides benefits for the Catholic mother because it gives her the opportunity to fulfill her responsibility in her marriage vocation, to educate her children. So it also provides a maturing process, the mom learning the truth about the faith and passing it on to her children is just so beautiful. The truth, passing on the truth to her child, to the young ones, to those who look up at her, the trusting souls. She is able to dedicate herself in service to these youngsters. I remember a student again that I met a few years back. At first, I was able to talk to her mom. The mom was very concerned because her teenage daughter was experiencing a faith crisis. The family is a very devout Catholic, as she is exposed to the different views of her classmates back then. She started to question why we do the sign of the cross, why we honor Mama Mary, and so on. So the family decided to homeschool her. Even though they just started homeschooling her in high school, but that actually transformed their child. With the excellent materials that they were able to use as a family when it comes to the faith, they were able to explain to the child the fundamentals of the faith. Since homeschooling also allows the child to be an independent learner, on the part of the child, she has come to love learning about our faith, learn more truths about our faith, our traditions, and the practical insights on how to stand firm in our faith and defend our faith. Even if she was just homeschooled for 2 years, when the child went to college, she was very much prepared and ready, to make sound decisions and not be swayed easily by the influences of the other side. So, homeschooling has helped this family in the journey, and thanks to the mom who took the initiative to pull out her child and homeschool her. Homeschool also benefits the father. So we know that fathers are great providers, but then there are times that they can seldom spend time with their children. Because of homeschooling's flexibility, there is much time that, the time can be worked around the schedule of the dad. I know of a family wherein the dad is so good in math. So what the family does is that once a week, they spend the whole day, instead of doing all the subjects, they just spend time doing math. So they either do it at a restaurant or in the office or even in Starbucks. So that was pre-pandemic time. So the dad was able to spend quality time with the kids. He's also very good in sports, in triathlon. So he was able to train his kids himself in swimming, running, biking, and spent much quality time with the children. Catholic homeschooling also benefits the family. So, homeschooling can strengthen internal family relationships as members help each other in the learning process. Okay? So, I know of like several families who are missionary families. Parents often travel abroad before they speak to different communities, or even across the Philippines where they go to remote areas, they do outreach programs. And the beauty of that is they bring along their children since their children are homeschooling. So, there is no need to be absent or late in school because schooling can be anywhere. So children learn from their parents. They see and witness the examples of their parents. And because of that, there is also the kids also imbibe those virtues that respect for others, caring for others, being sensitive to the needs of others, and serving others. Homeschooling also benefits the community. So it's also because their values are not shaped by their peers, but by the parents who instruct their children about the church teachings on current problems in our society. So in terms of the formation of the minds of the young, the parents are actively involved. So therefore, the children are most likely to become more mature in their thought learning, in their thought process, and be able to make good and sound decisions when they are in community. Most of the homeschoolers that I know are, responsible leaders. They are prayer warriors even, and they pray for the country. They pray on what problems are in the country. I know of this family wherein the mom is actively serving in an outreach program for fellow mothers who don't have any job. So the mom teaches them how to recycle plastics and recycle them into something beautiful and creative. So the mom brings her children along with her. And in the process, the children also learn to teach this fellow, to teach the mommies how to do them. So this value of sharing, of giving for community, is developed in their homeschool journey. Homeschooling also benefits the church. The Catholic Church is already reaping the benefits of homeschooling families. The Pope is constantly encouraging evangelization, but the most effective evangelization is again in the home, from parents to the children. So there is that love for service that is inculcated within the child, and then they are also able to serve in ministries. I also know of, many homeschoolers who are active in youth groups. They actually involve themselves in the matters of the church. And it's so beautiful that even at their young age, they are already helping the Catholic Church in terms of living out that faith. The Catholic homeschool family, they give witness to the Catholic truth, the main truth being that with God's grace, the authentic Catholic family life can be lived. So homeschooling, we know, also supports vocations. Homeschooling finally benefits the nation. For those of us who love our country and we want a renewal for the country, revival in our land, we know that it is very important to develop and to train young minds to become good citizens of the country. And homeschooling helps that. Many values that benefits the nation can be developed, like loyalty, patriotism, nationalism, love for the country. We also have obedience, respect for authority, respect for the elderly. These are just some of the values that can be developed in the homeschooling family. And that's why this is what also benefits the nation. With all these advantages that I've mentioned, I know that homeschooling, of course, is not easy, okay? But it will be very rewarding in the end. Homeschooling helps develop the students' deep love for Jesus and growth in the faith. This is the foundation of a life centered on Christ. I would like to share with you a recent feedback I got from a mom who is homeschooling on her second year. So they're following a Catholic program, a Catholic curriculum. And I was very blessed by what she shared with me. So let me read this here. We just love Catholic homeschooling. Our mindset also as a family has changed. Before, we used to dream that they be achievers and be the best at their sport. All of them are athletes in their respective sport, and they used to represent NCR in mga palarong pambansa. But with Catholic homeschooling, we realized that what's important is to enter heaven as little saints. It is so amazing how Catholic homeschooling has changed our mission and vision as a family. So beautifully said. And let me leave with you these words from Dr. Mary K. Clark, the writer of Catholic Homeschooling. This is what she said. Inside your Catholic home, you provide an environment in which knowing, loving, and serving God is respected and protected. Inside your home, you teach about the wonder of life and the wonder of the universe. You instill in them the love of God, the love of life, and the love of learning that they will cherish all their lives. So to those who are currently homeschooling, I pray for all of you that you continue to enjoy your homeschool journey. And to those who are interested in homeschooling, I hope I was able to shed some light on the benefits that you can get and the rewards that you can get on Catholic homeschooling. Thank you, everyone, and have a blessed day.